Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review for the Blacklist Season 10, Episode 17, the Morgana Logistics Corporation. See, I'm saying it happier now because I feel like I actually got something out of this, and also because I now know that Raymond Reddington was in some way in possession of this corporation. He would find me and do terrible things to me if I continue to bash it in video form. So I am sorry, Raymond Reddington. Don't hurt me, please.
This was a really great episode. And like after our preview, when you were like poo poo all over the name
Yep.
of it, I was kind of like, yeah, corporation type episodes have not always been like, top shelf episodes. This was really good. I mean, I think a lot of us probably suspected he had something to do with this, but like it was just so nicely put together of where he could give the task force something so big to like really, fluff them up, but also to sort of end his own corporation and say goodbye to the people that worked with him and make sure they were all taken care of. Man, it was so nice. It like came together really well.
And Spader just like bursts into the room being like, I've got this.
I
I'm gonna
know.
deliver another signature speech and reference Henry James and all this other stuff. Like I I am a sucker for a good Reddington speech.
Yep.
This episode gave that to me.
Yes.
It also gave me a good Reddington and Dembe moment, but of course we have more to talk about there a little bit
Oh
later.
yeah.
But all right, well, before we go further here, as you guys know, the Blacklist series finale is coming very, very soon.
Very soon.
And for those of you who don't know, Jess and I have a Patreon, and we have a brand new video up there right now all about the series finale, what we know, and then also doing rumor patrol on everything that is out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there about the finale, some of it true, some of it questionable. We go over all of it. What's facts, what's rumor. So that video is over on our Patreon. And thank you to everyone who has already been over there having these conversations with us and watching all our videos over there. It really helps us out here at the channel to be able to continue making these videos for everybody.
Thank you guys so much. And now let's talk about the moment that my heart burst straight out of my chest when Dembe said, I miss you too, to Reddington.
Oh my goodness.
What? Why are you guys? I mean, it obviously serves a pretty functional part of this storyline why Dembe and Reddington are no longer together. But just at that moment, I was just like, I miss this. I miss the camaraderie. I miss them visiting, their familiar places and getting a falafel sandwich and all these things that were important to them beyond just running criminal enterprises.
It was such a nice moment. I mean, the minute that Cooper was like, "Oh, do you need some sort of security? Like, you've been kind of running on your own for a while now. I don't really know what's going on with that. Like, where's Chuck?" I don't know. He's out there doing whatever sort of thing. That he was like, do you need somebody? Yeah, I need Dembe. Cool, no problem. You can have him. I was like, oh man, this is going to be such a good episode for the two of them. And
Yeah.
it really was like them just spending the whole day together and doing everything they were doing. That last moment where he was like, I miss you too. Oh my goodness. My heart almost burst out of my chest. They just know how to squeeze my heart so well on this show.
You know what? I think a lot of it is just sort of tied to this idea now that we are obviously, and I'm not trying to make everyone emotional here, but
Too late.
we are really close to the end of this show. And I think because they know they're really close to the end of this show, they're sort of making sure that they give us all these little things that they know that we loved over the years.
I legit thought when he said, Reddington was like, I'm putting together this party.
Yeah.
I thought my heart was just going to fall out of my chest. I thought that he was putting together a party of like 25 to 30 of all of the people that really mattered to him. And we were going to have all these people come back, like Paula and even Brimley, and just all these people were all going to be in a room together. And I was like really kind of preparing myself for it. I didn't think we were actually going to have the party in this episode. I thought they were building towards nearer to the end.
Does Brimley bring his party animal to the party?
He is the party animal.
Oh! There you go. No, I think it was important to have this stuff with Reddington and Dembe because I think the reality of this situation is once again not to be sad, but we don't know if there's going to be many more opportunities to do this over the rest of the show now because there's not that much left. And based on, at the very least, like, let's just talk about the end of this episode for a moment here because this is going to change things in a pretty dramatic way where Arthur Hudson,
Oh, Hudson.
I still don't like you. You still suck. You still don't have like much of a compelling personality at all. I still am very frustrated about the idea of you being the final big bad. But with all that being said, it's like I understand now at the very least why you are dangerous because you have figured out the name Dembe Zuma and in turn really taken on one of the big questions that all of us have collectively pounded our head over, which is like, how is Dembe an FBI agent in the first place? Like, really?
Yeah, it was very strange when that happened. It was like, how do you go from being Reddington's right-hand man to being an FBI agent? How does that happen? Even like just Harold alone, how is he able to do it? And as it turns out, it took 4 people in that same position to be able to make that happen. And this was the first time that I've seen Hudson as some sort of actual foe here. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit boring and whatever, but he came across in this episode very smart. He was able to pull information with just a bunch of blank papers
Yeah.
and, pull in favors. He really was able to start to fit together information to figure out that these 4 assistant directors were able to get someone who was Reddington's right-hand man to be an FBI agent. And why they would do that is sort of now where he's starting to get into more of the finer details, but he knows that it is all connected to Raymond Reddington now. He doesn't have all the information, but he has a lot of the moving pieces. And I mean, I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
Listen, tinfoil hat.
All right.
If he's going to be the person to take down the task force, which I assume has to happen by the end of this series, otherwise, why is the series ending?
Yeah.
They can keep on fighting crime together, right?
Yeah.
But if he takes down the task force, or if he's focusing in on Dembe to maybe take away him being an agent, which I know is something that he means a lot to him, but being with Reddington has meant a lot to him as well. And if Reddington is doing what he's doing, which is kind of getting rid of his criminal empire, he doesn't want it anymore, he doesn't need it anymore, that then can bring Dembe back in as a companion, as a traveling companion, best friend, someone that he loves, family, and he can just retire and sort of spend the rest of his life having, less criminal but still fun adventures with Red. And that's an ending that I want to see. And I know this is a dark show and you don't always get a happy ending, but like, man, that'd be great.
I really want to believe in your ending. Is that too much to ask for, everybody? Can we have the Dembe Reddington travel spinoff? Can it be like could be like somebody feed Phil over on Netflix. Every episode they're going to like a different city and trying
Right?
different falafel sandwiches together. I would watch that till the end of time. No, I think we are obviously, like you said, setting something up here with Hudson where, number one, he's going to work to shut down
I
the
think
task
you mean
force.
number 2.
Oh, God. Why?
I know. And listen,
The-
it
the-
should have been Townsend. How is he going to end up as number 2?
I have to pull this dagger out of my heart as you
I
have just
know.
reminded me of the most painful memory is the Arthur Hudson, greater danger than Katerina Rostova, everyone.
I know.
I hate this. I know it's not the real Katerina. I do not care. I will be upset about that till the end of time.
It'll
as well.
be interesting too if, the rumors are true that he's really going to end up being number 2, because if Reddington has, we've seen that he's wiped himself from everything. He's not connected to anything anymore. What is Hudson really going to find that's going to hurt him? Like, obviously, Reddington doesn't want the task force to be hurt, but if all that happens is they kind of just disband, then, like, why would he be number 2 on the list? He's not necessarily going to end up being a threat to Reddington unless He's finding him and putting him in jail.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
You ain't gonna catch him.
No, that ain't happening. This is not the end. I guarantee the ending of this show is not Arthur Hudson putting Reddington in prison. Raise your hand if you'd be happy about that.
Oh, no way. But like, obviously he's got that on his mind where he's just like, we've been chasing him for like a decade now and we haven't been able to catch him. And this is why.
Okay, so let's have a moment of real talk here. I'm going to take everybody behind the curtain for a second because there are times in doing these videos where I have a thought. And in the process of having that thought, I think, should I say this? Is this going to be a terrible idea?
Do it.
Okay. One, peer pressure. Also,
correct.
Is Arthur Hudson number 2 because he's a lot of poo? Thank you. You're welcome, everybody. I'll see you next time. No, don't.
5-year-old bat. Oh.
Yeah, well, listen. Every now and then we all need poop humor. It makes the world go better. Okay, that's also a pun. I did not intend that one though. Okay, here's my other. Since I'm just doing bits now, here's my other bit for this video. Here is Cooper walking into the meeting with these 3 other assistants. So, hear me out. That's just the first. By the way, the moment anyone says "hear me out," you know it's not going to go well.
No.
The rest of the way. Okay, now that I've gotten the bits out of the way, it's really funny, and I think this is another part of the show that's making me all kind of nostalgic and sad at this point. Is that if this was like a season or 2 ago, I would be really mad at this story of the week because it was like, okay, here we go again. Reddington sent the task force on a wild goose chase, only to end up, rope-a-doping them and getting what he wants and making them feel stupid all over again. But it was just like, oh, I really like it. Reddington's given the speech. I didn't mind them getting clowned.
But they didn't get clowned, really. I mean, like, yeah, they did. It was Reddington, but they ended up getting like one of the biggest, most intricate cases that even Cooper was like, even though we weren't able to rope in anybody, big up on, the chain of command in this huge operation, the fact that we were able to dismantle this operation at all is huge for us, that they got like the biggest win of their careers, it seems, which I don't know if that's really true, but at the same time, if they feel good about it, I feel good about it.
They couldn't figure out the head of the chain of command because Reddington is the chain.
I know.
And Reddington basically, I know there's episodes coming called Raven. Raven Reddington was really the blacklister in this episode.
I know.
I was really concerned about the story of the week, admittedly, like halfway through, but it did end in a satisfying place, as though I do like your idea better of the party with Brimley and the party animal and Paula and all of that, but him just being there, kind of giving the speech, also basically saying, what's mine is yours is mine. It's all going to be divided up. It hits yet again the theme of this season, which is Reddington moving on from pretty much everything. And as much fun as this is, we actually still do not have the answer as to why.
No, we don't. I mean, we have some theories of sort of why and what we think is going on over on our Patreon. We've mentioned that before, but it's the show itself is not really giving much hints on that, which is kind of strange because we only have like a handful literally of episodes left. Okay, we have to talk about what's going on with this whole WEECHA storyline because it's had very kind of mixed reviews I've seen on social media where some people are like, whatever he wants to do. And other people who are just like, that's like her sister. Like, what is going on? I thought she was just a bodyguard. He was with the sister. Like, how could, she do that? How could he do that? And now we're in a situation where they have shared more than just a kiss, where he ended up on top, as he says. And he said very clearly to her that he's not looking for a bodyguard. He's looking for a girlfriend. And it is very interesting that WEECHA is the person that he's saying this to, of course, while hooking up with her, that it's like, what happened to the sister? Like, like at the beginning, when we first met up with WEECHA, Reddington was saying things that made it seem like he had an intimate relationship with WEECHA. He had mentioned that they shared a bed. I know that later he was kind of like, oh, it's just, a living arrangement so that we're both comfortable, that none of us have to sleep on like the bench. We can like just share the bed or whatever. However, he also has said that he wakes up every morning to see her in undress, or that she's in undress shaving her legs and he's watching her, which is not something you do with your friend or your bodyguard or somebody that, you've employed unless you have an intimate relationship with them. Nobody's watching me in undress while I'm shaving my legs unless I'm in an intimate relationship with you. And I feel like that's the way that it is for most people. So there were hints of that, but then they just kind of like abandoned that storyline for the sisters. So is it that strange that we are now sort of back there with WEECHA? Let me know what you think. Are you like team this is great, or team like what happened to the sister?
Okay, this is sort of the thing with it, is that to me, Reddington and Mirza ran the course. Like, I don't know what else you could have done with that character that would have been interesting, because like the entire end of her story in season 9 was basically her telling Reddington to stop all these shenanigans.
And he is, and that's why it's kind of strange that it's not her. Like, he's wrapping everything up exactly what she wanted. Okay, so where is she?
I feel like WEECHA's the better match, and I just feel that way because WEECHA kind of likes danger a little bit more. She seems very adventurous. Reddington is very adventurous. They kind of have that going for them. Also, okay, somebody in the comments is probably gonna, tell me, oh, in this episode at this time, Reddington said this, but I don't recall Reddington ever calling anyone his girlfriend ever. Like, even Anne, like, it was clear that Anne was his girlfriend.
Absolutely.
Like, don't get me wrong, but him just saying the word girlfriend, it was really jarring to me for some reason. And it was like, oh, you really are changing. You really are wanting something different, because the implication of the word girlfriend is settling down, spending time with someone.
Stability.
Yeah, that's not something I associate with Raymond Reddington all that much. Now, I don't mind Raymond having a girlfriend. That's fine. Everybody deserves some love in their lives.
Yes.
But at the same time, if WEECHA's gonna be your girlfriend, Reddington, can she be around longer than a minute and a half an episode? It's like every time we've seen WEECHA, it has been like you blink and she is literally gone and you do not see her again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's not interested in that. And she, kind of, slushed it off when he was saying that anyways. So that just might not be something that she's interested in right now. But yeah, the word girlfriend and him saying that feels like he's trying to find a way to put down roots. He wants more stability with somebody. He's ready to do that. And clearly he's willing to do that with WEECHA.
Yeah, well, good for you, Reddington. I believe in you. Let's hope this all works out for you. We never actually saw how any of that ended. We just got your innuendo after the fact, which, by the way, earmuffs, I'm not sure I'm ever old enough to hear Raymond Reddington talking innuendo. I'm just saying.
Listen, if you've been watching James Spader movies, TV shows, anything for pretty much your whole life, which I have, because I was, a teenager around the time that his star was rising with Pretty in Pink and all that. He is just a walking innuendo. I mean, like, he's got chemistry with a floor lamp. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Okay, let's talk a couple of little Easter eggs in this episode that were appealing to me. The Reddington Agnes scene, where there was all this talk about
Lake.
Remember when everyone was freaking out about Ballet Girl early on in the first season of this show?
Yes.
Reddington and the ballet. It's just like everything kind of came full circle to me in just that moment, and it just made me feel so happy. And it was also oddly, because I know this was in the midst of like an intense moment, it made me really happy when they reminded us of Reddington and Liz being on the run in season 3, because that story, here's a hot take for everybody like 20 minutes into the video.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite storylines on the show, rewatchability wise. Like, go back and watch like that final episode of that arc where you got like Liz is just like tearing through the wilderness. They got like that really cool George Ezra song playing. It's just, I think that episode's called Kings of the Highway, which is just like a top 10 rando Blacklister episode. But it's just one of those situations where this show is kind of remembering some things that it did before, which they haven't always done, where we
Yep.
have people, hello, Mr. Solomon and Scotty, where you just never mention them ever again.
No, it was really nice to have a Liz mention. I mean, obviously she's long been dead on the
Yeah.
show now, and to keep bringing her up over and over again, there's not a lot of reason for it. However, there's some reason to bring it back here or there when it matters and when it sort of comes together. So it was nice to have a mention of it, especially since it's Hudson who doesn't really know anything and he's just putting kind of these pieces together.
All right, well, there we have it, everybody. There is the Morgana Logistics Corporation. I now say it with a song in my heart. Please don't hurt me, Raymond. And that is what we got to say here. But if you want to hear more about what we have to say about the series finale, everything we know, Rumor Patrol,
Yep.
at our Patreon, a link is in the description below. We will have a preview up for the next episode tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled on that, and we'll see you here next time.